Golf Central.
Hi there, thanks for joining us here on Golf Central. Todd Lewis with our friend Charlie Reimer. We will be with you until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on the eve of the AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am. And of course, that is the PGA Tour debut for Tiger Woods. Now, over the next hour, you will hear from some of the world's best players giving their thoughts before competition this week. And we're going to begin with Davis Love III, a two-time winner at Pebble Beach, but a very important year for Davis because he is the United States captain at the Ryder Cup, which is going to be taking place at Medinah this year just outside of Chicago. Let's hear from the U.S. captain.
Yeah, I just walked out on the range and a couple guys said, "Hello, Captain." So that's always nice to hear, and it's exciting that we're in a Ryder Cup year. And, you know, we've been doing obviously a lot of preparations, getting ready, and now the points are getting exciting, and the players are starting to talk about it a lot more. So, yeah, excited to, you know, I got off to a slow start. Obviously, I've only played twice, but, you know, everybody's thinking that way, thinking about making points. And obviously, Kyle Stanley had a great couple of weeks, and Stricker had a great couple of weeks, and a lot of our guys are playing well. So, and there's a lot of details that I've been working on behind the scenes. Robin and I've been very busy, so it's going to be a fun year.
Okay, we'll take some questions. We're doing the interviews telephonically, so if you could raise your hand and we'll pass the microphones, please. Thank you. Doug?
Joel Shookman here. Have you given any thoughts to assistant captains and when you're thinking about naming them?
A lot of thought to who they would be. You know, Corey gave me a great, you know, insight to this 2 years by letting me be an assistant captain. I learned an awful lot, and I really learned how important the assistants are, especially when it rains a lot, that we get to carry a lot of towels and a lot of extra sandwiches. And I told them actually after the Wales Ryder Cup that I'd like to be, you know, just a caddy assistant every year because it was so much fun doing all the work behind the scenes. But it is a big job, and I know Jose Maria and I have been talking about, you know, is 4 the right number, or is that too many? But it certainly seems like the last few years 4 has worked, and I'm trying to narrow down my 4 right now. And I think we would probably announce, you know, we're talking to Jose Maria, seeing when he's ready, try to time it together.
Are you considering Fred as an assistant? You guys have a long friendship, but he's kind of become a winning, a big figure given the last president.
He's 2-0.
Yeah, he's 2-0. Does that become a distraction, or?
I'm looking to get the guys to play, you know, more relaxed and have fun, and obviously, you know, we want to win. And it seems like Fred's put together a formula where they came out firing and relaxed and made some great pairings. So he and I have already talked a lot, and you know, he'd be high on my list. You know, obviously, he's in the running to be the President's Cup captain again because he did so well with the President's Cup that that the players want him back. And I know that's you know, he wants to be captain of the President's Cup team again, and we'll see where that goes in the next couple of months when Tim announces. But no, I'm going to rely on my friends, you know, that have played a lot of Ryder Cups, and Fred's definitely one of them.
Davis, you mentioned that points are kind of getting exciting. When do you seriously start looking at the list and the points?
I don't know. That's a good question. Obviously, it's volatile right now. You know, it changes so fast. You know, Steve Stricker takes a month off, and Kyle Stanley has 2 great weeks, and you know, it just changes. It changes quickly. I would think it's serious. You know, mid-majors. You know, somewhere after the Masters, U.S. Open, it's going to get real close, and you'll kind of solidify maybe 6. I know they measure for close usually in May, so maybe after that you start getting a little more serious. I know when I always played, it was, you know, you went to the Memorial, you got measured for close, and you started choking on points. So you know, that's probably the time is you know that it's serious when you get measured for your close and the points start settling out. You know, I'd say U.S. Open. I'll be real intent on starting to pick out the 4 or 5 guys that I think are going to make it and the 4 or 5 guys that are going to be on the bubble.
Yeah, one other thing, the assistant captain side of the equation, would you ever look at former Ryder Cup captains as an assistant captain?
Yeah, again, I watched what Corey did, brought in a friend that had been a captain before. That was really, I know I looked at Tom Lehman an awful lot that week, all right, now what do we do, because he'd been there before. I know Corey leaned on him more than his other assistants because he had the experience, he'd been there before. And, I'm going to consider, again, anybody that I think can make our team better, whether it's the 4 captains, assistant captains, or the 4 captains' picks for playing. Whoever can make the team better, I'm not going. And Corey went with some of his close friends, but he didn't go with just friends. He went with guys he felt like, I'm been very, not that close to Corey. Certainly there's 3 or 4 other guys that I suspected he would pick rather than me. But he picked me for a reason. He picked Tom for a reason, picked Goidos for a reason. And, it all worked very, very well, except for just, a putt here, a putt there. He had a great strategy and a great plan.
Jason?
Davis, you mentioned it's still early, but looking at the list, 7 of the 8 automatic spots right now are being filled by guys who would be rookies. Does that worry you that you have that kind of lack of experience on the team right now?
No, I think to Alex's point, it's going to change a lot. I like the guys that are on there because they're making a ton of birdies, and that's what we need to do is make tons of birdies. Kyle, I talked to him after San Diego, and I said, you just keep getting there and making that many birdies, you're going to win a bunch of golf tournaments, and he proved it, the very next week. But, all those guys are making, Mark Wilson back to, the last couple years. I played with Ben Crane last week. Holy cow, the guy's putting good. So, but if I had this 8 guys playing like that in September, yeah, I'd be very happy. We want 8 guys playing that good, and that's what we're looking for. And it'll change a lot. Tiger doesn't have a start in this year yet. I don't know how many Phil has, maybe 2. 2 or 3, yeah. So, give those guys 15, give Stricker some more time. I think it'll, Furyk some more time. I think it'll start looking very similar. We'll probably have 4 or 5 guys that have done it before and 4 or 5 guys that haven't, and that's the way it usually works out.
Bob?
Anything to be gleaned from the President's Cup in regards to maybe pairings or, I don't know how closely you watched that, but was there anything that you could take from that might help you?
I didn't watch it closely, but I've talked to Fred a fair amount and some other guys about it. And yeah, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for freewheeling and having fun and making lots of birdies, playing great. His pairings were, some of them were pretty obvious and some of them weren't. He's filled me in on how he got to that point, how he and Jay got to that point on a lot of them. And, I'm going to rely on guys that have had success like him and Paul and Corey on putting the right guys together recently. It doesn't really matter whether it's President's Cup or Ryder Cup or World Cup. If you find 2 guys that get along real well, like Freddie and I did in the World Cup, you find 2 guys that get along real well and are comfortable with each other on the golf course, you kind of got to go with it.
You kind of excited about the emergence of these young guys? A year ago, about this time, people were saying that most of the young talent is over in Europe. And then they've got Keegan winning the PGA. And
well, yeah, it goes in cycles and goes in what people are watching. Obviously, when Rory, was so hot last year and winning U.S. Open, and those guys had won 3 majors in a row, and it just goes in cycles. But our guys, you watch the American Tour, Steve Stricker played awfully well on our tour last year. We had a lot of guys playing really well. So it's nice to see these young guys. I know Kyle a little bit, Johnson, Brandt, from their Sea Island connection. So I'm well connected with a lot of the younger guys, Lucas, Zach, Ben Crane because of Zach, living at St. Simon's, and Jonathan Bird, friends with Ben. So I'm getting to know a lot of these guys, and I'm fortunate, I've been very fortunate that I'm, exempt and I'm playing. I got paired with Ben last week in Phoenix. I got paired with Steve Stricker in Hawaii. So I've played twice and I haven't made a cut, but I've made some good progress. I made some good progress with the guys that are probably going to be on my team. And it's funny, both of those guys putt really good. I've figured out that putting is very important to shooting low scores. I hit it well enough. If I'd have putted like Ben Crane, I'd have done really good last week. God, it's unbelievable. And like I talked to Todd Anderson after playing with Brandt a little bit, and I'm like, it's not Ben Crenshaw, or it's not that Brandt looks like he has the purest stroke on tour, and Todd goes, he's the best green reader on tour, and he's confident putter. So I learned something about Brandt. I've learned something about Ben. I've learned something even more about, Stricker and I know each other very, very well. We both, rather be in a deer stand most of the time. But, I watched him play from a different perspective the last few years, watching him, why is he so successful right now? I've heard him talk to guys about his putting. And so I'm just lucky that I'm out here with those guys, especially like at Sea Island. Go out to hit balls on the range, and there's Jonathan Bird and Zach Johnson, two guys that I'd like to see on the team because they're, great wedge players, great putters. Zach's got the experience. Jonathan's been winning, so I'm just lucky to be out here in amongst them all the time.
Fred, a month before he had to, said Tiger was going to be on his team. 6 months out, I was wondering if you could do the same for us. I
just watched him hit balls. He's hitting it really good. And his last 3 starts are good. I suspect that it's hard to get points with no starts. So I think you give him enough starts, he'll probably get enough points. His last 3 events, he's played very, very well. And, Fred knew what he was doing. I mean, he wasn't going out on a limb. He's picking the best player we've ever seen play. So, but, healthy full season, either one of the last couple of years, just a few more starts and a little bit healthier, he'd have made those teams. He wasn't, he just didn't have enough starts. So I think if he has a full, healthy season, we won't be worrying about picking him. But it's nice with 4 picks. I got a lot of flexibility.
That is Davis Love III, the United States captain for the Ryder Cup, which will be held this year at Medinah, just outside of Chicago. And of course, Davis played for the United States in the Ryder Cup 6 times and was an assistant captain for Corey Pavin a couple of years ago when they lost over in Europe. I want to follow up that last question there to Davis, and that is Tiger Woods. Do you take Tiger Woods if he doesn't automatically qualify for this team? Currently, he is 38th in the standings, and we're a long ways away from determining whether or not Tiger is going to be on or off the team through qualification. But if he is not, is it a no-brainer to select Tiger Woods?
I don't think there's any way that he's not going to play himself onto that team if he stays healthy, Todd. Keep in mind, this is a year with a lot of volatility in the points, the majors. The points are double this year. You can climb up that list very, very quickly. If Tiger Woods stays healthy, I see no way that he doesn't make that team. If he's right there, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, obviously he's a no-brainer for the pick. Yeah, if he's way back, he's not healthy, he goes out and he has a horrible year, he misses a lot of cuts, it's going to be hard for Davis to put him on that team. But I just don't see it happening from where Tiger is right now.
Let me ask you about the personality of Davis Love III. Of course, every captain brings his personality to the team. What kind of captain will Davis Love III be?
Well, if you look at some of the past captains, you think about Paul Azinger. He was very scientific. He had his pods. He did all the research. Davis won't be that type of captain. Jose Maria Olazabal, I think, will be a very emotional type captain. The tie-in with Seve. Don't forget that Olazabal and Seve played 15 Ryder Cup matches
Armada
together. Spanish Armada. They won 11 of those matches and have 2 of them. I think Olazabal will tie into that emotion. I think Davis Love is going to be very much a Fred Couples type captain, and seeing what Fred has done with the President's Cup, with the players really enjoying playing the matches. Davis, I think, is going to do everything he can to make sure that this is a very fun experience for the players. He feels like if his guys can relax, go out and play their golf, that's going to allow them to play their best golf in a very, obviously, competitive environment. So he's going to be a very relaxed player, and a lot of people don't realize the sense of humor that Davis has. Davis in the locker room with the players is a lot of fun to be around.
Charlie Rymer is a walking, talking segue. You mentioned Fred Couples, his good friend. Well, Freddie Couples, of course, has been a two-time winning U.S. captain for the President's Cup team. He is playing at the Mega Dubai Desert Classic this week, and he was asked today in a press conference if he has interest in becoming the U.S. Ryder Cup captain. Here's what he had to say.
So maybe in the next, 2 or 4 years, I'll get a shot at it, but they are going to name another President's Cup captain here in another month, and I know that they're all pushing for me to do it again. So I'm all for that. But obviously, would love to be a Ryder Cup captain. There's no doubt.
Well, let me see. Freddie Couples wants to be a Ryder Cup captain. He's won 2 President's Cups for the United States. If I'm the PGA of America, this looks like a layup to me.
Well, it's really nice for Freddie that the players are really politicking, they're really pushing for him. I think we might end up seeing a situation, as Davis alluded to in his press conference, where we might see Freddie Couples as a Davis Love assistant, and then if everything goes well, then you'd have some continuity in that. I think, again, we're going to have a very similar style in Davis Love and Fred Couples. Then maybe you get a little bit of a train rolling for the U.S. team. Just one scenario that I think we got a decent shot of seeing, Todd.
Wow, you're saying if Fred Couples is an assistant captain to Davis Love III, what is that team room going to be like? It's going to be a lot of fun, very loose, huh?
You're going to have guys that are really, really thrilled to be in there, I can tell you.
All right, thanks a lot, Charlie.